3, 2, 1. We should be streaming live. Mr. McWombles, you want to take it away with the intro?
Thank you very much, Matt. Hello, everybody. We are the Beerumverate, and we are no one's spiritual successor. We are two guys and Evan.
Two guys and an Evan. I want to see that show.
Evan. All we need is a pizza place, and then we could have a sitcom. Who like talking about good beer and video games. We are not here to promote drinking. Please drink responsibly. And any beers or breweries that we might talk about aren't paying us. And if we don't like them, as has happened to me the last few weeks because I've been a numpty and I've been drinking fruit beer, go out and try different things. And then if you don't like it, you don't like it. In appreciation of Evan coming back on the show after his very special
oh my God, I love
time away, but then he spent part of his time away on his previous podcast shit talking us, so that's not going to stay up for very long, and we can go to that and show some appreciation for the great state of Las Vegas and the city of Las Vegas in the state of Nevada. Yeah, if Mitch had been on that Wisconsin thing, would have stayed up for longer. But after that episode of the last ever episode of what was it? You were talking Spanish. You did a Spanish podcast.
Yeah. It got too big, so we just want to reload, if you will. Maybe. Yeah, final episode of podcast Reload. Just got put up last week, and Vin and I are basically doing the exact same thing, but changing the name essentially to.
Yeah. So what it was, you couldn't compete with the Beerumverate, so you had to rethink the offer. What do the kids want now? Since less and less younger people are actually drinking alcohol, you had to get the coffee in.
Yeah, they love the coffee. We were gonna name it Starbucks and beer, but Starbucks wouldn't let us do it. And
I am doing this in jest. So yes, very well done. We all loved Podcast Reload. It's how I learned Spanish, in fact.
That's very specific Spanish too. You know how to discuss video games now, at least.
Yeah. Donde est video games?
Right here.
¿Por qué usted pintando el perro?
Matt, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. For anybody who's curious, that is Spanish for why you paint dog.
Why do you paint dog?
I don't know. Not sure.
All right. What are we doing here?
Yeah, we should probably get into it.
Well, other than stirring up a make-believe feud between Beerumverate and
I need to get some people in the background, some burly men in the background.
Yeah. So
I will let him know.
Yeah.
Noted. And our rebuttal will be coming shortly.
So announcements. Look out at some point in future for a potential crossover episode of the Beerumverate and Coffee podcast.
There you go. I like that.
I think that'll be a good one to do. Also, announcement. Matt and I have been talking about what we could potentially do, not on Zencaster, which you've then got to go and edit. We can just do this live, and we're going to post a link to the Zoom meeting in a thread on Sifted. And if you would like to talk anything about E3 week, just jump on, and you can talk to us and our amassed regular semi-dozen viewers. I think we've got up to 44 views.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we're if we get to 50, I'll be happy.
Yeah, it doesn't count if you just watch it again 5 times. But hopefully we'll get some people, because we'll be doing it over a chunk of time. I think it probably at least a couple of hours, and that way if people can just hop in and talk about something they want to bring up that they've seen at E3, and then just pop back off. So there's no real kind of allocated times for people to do it, and Zoom can accommodate up to 100 people. Not that we'll actually get 100 people who wanted to sign in at once.
That would be really interesting, especially using the gallery view. It would just be like little thumbnails of a bunch of people.
But hopefully some of you might actually be interested in doing that. And like I said, we'll put the link to the Zoom meeting in a thread, and then we'll just go from there and see what happens. Do we want to do beers?
Yes, we do need to do beers because I'm drinking at 7:09 in the morning. So this is eventful.
All right. Disclaimers, McWomble?
I've done the disclaimer.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you were obviously thinking about your next podcast.
Oh, you know me.
Yeah. You're just thinking, what would Vin do?
WWVD. Wow, that took me a really long time.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. What?
I don't know if I want worldwide venereal disease. I don't think that's wise. So yeah, this morning I am drinking the same thing that I was drinking last night. Belching Beaver's Phantom Bride, which is a beer by the Deftones. Really good. It's a solid West Coast IPA. It's semi-clear, slightly hazy, heavy on the hops, but still drinkable. Not really much aftertaste, which is good. 7.1%, so it's pretty hefty.
Ooh. That's heavy. That's 500 ml can there.
Yeah, and it's so these are 1 pint cans. These are bigger than average American cans. I actually had this beer at the Deftones show that I went to a couple of years ago, and I thought it was like a one-off. I figured, like whatever, they're bringing this on the tour, and that's the only place you'll ever get it. And then I went to the grocery store the other day and I saw it, and I was like, holy shit. So I picked up a 6-pack and have.
Was that the first time you'd seen it in the stores?
Yeah, I haven't seen it anywhere before. The first time I ever saw it was at the concert that we went to. The nice thing about it too is like Budweiser and Miller and all those were like $8 for a fucking draft, and they were selling cans of this for I think $6 or $7, so like under what the typical cheap beer was. So
right. I wish I could try it. Is that Matt? Remember you sent me a link to there's like not a documentary, but like a short movie about them being interested in partnering with a brewery, and then they went to the brewery and they were trying out beers. Is that's the beer? That was
this. I think I sent that to you after.
That was years ago.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. I think it was after I went to the show.
Okay. Yeah. That was cool. All right. Oh, it's cool to see it in the stores now. Wish I could try it maybe sometime in the future when I go back to the States.
Yeah, or we can try shipping it. We'll see how Customs feels about canned beer.
Yeah, I have no idea.
It should be okay. Just as long as you're not smuggling cocaine in it.
Right.
Yeah, don't put any cocaine in it, please.
No,
right.
not again.
It's all right.
You're
not Todd Howard. I don't need to get you cocaine.
Does Todd Howard do cocaine?
No, it was a joke that I made. The first.
It was one of the very first rumors that we started doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
When Matt said he plied him with drinking drugs in a bar in order to get a rumor out of him.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was on cocaine when he made Fallout 76. Am I right? Keith, what are you drinking?
So after my rather bad experiences with fruit beers, I found this.
It's another fruit beer.
Yes,
but it's not.
I like the can.
So whilst it's called Juicy Lager, it doesn't actually have any fruit in it. And what they've done is they've picked how many? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 different kinds of hops, which all have a fruity finish. So it tastes fruity, but it doesn't taste of fruit. So the other things that I was drinking recently on the show, so there was the blood orange one, which is bloody horrible, and then there was the mango one that I tried last week, which is ugh. This is actually really good, and because it's really hoppy, very heady, and it's got a bit of a fruity finish, but it doesn't have fruit in it. Yes.
Do they actually?
Third time's the charm. It's nice that even though you don't like them, that you're willing to take a crack at one until you find one that you like that actually doesn't have any fruit in it.
Well, it kind of turned into a bit of something that I felt like I had to keep going with.
Sure. Until
I found something that I actually liked. Oh, go on then. I'll put that back up for a bit.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. All right. Speaking of greatness, in commemoration, because Liverpool FC won the.
You need to work if you're coming to the UK. You need to work on that pronunciation.
But it would sound like I'm putting it on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it would be like me saying Birmingham.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, no, it would be like you pronouncing Wisconsin in like a Midwest accent.
There's no such thing.
I don't know if Keith can do that.
No. Do you want to try?
No.
Okay.
I just embarrass myself on.
Okay.
There's plenty of other ways I can embarrass myself.
Everyone knows that Liverpool FC won the Champions League, 6 times champions of Europe. So in commemoration of that, I am drinking Echigo Brewery, which is Japan's first microbrewery. I'm drinking their red ale, their premium red ale, which I think I've actually I may have shown on the show.
I don't recognize the can. I thought I would have.
Maybe it's not the best. It's not the most interesting label. This side is 2 cranes on it.
It's got the cranes on the other side.
Yeah, that's a bit better. So it's a red ale. It's 5.5%. Sorry, let this sit for a bit. Very.
Oh wow.
Oh.
So
pretty dark. It's clear. It's clear enough. Not too much. Yeah, not really any cloudiness to it, but it's dark. It's like a dark. You're gonna love this one. It's a dark caramel color, Keith. Dark caramel, nice and caramely.
You do realize there's another vowel in that word?
I'm not so sure. It's bitter. It doesn't have as much bite at the end in the aftertaste that I was hoping for, but it's not heavy.
Is it kind of malty?
Yeah, it's malty. It's got a crisp bite in the front. Not much of an aftertaste, but it seems like the more you drink it, the more it'll build on your tongue. But it's highly drinkable, which could be dangerous, but that's also good.
Right.
So yeah, congratulations to Liverpool for winning their 6th championship.
I thought for a moment that some microbrewery in Japan had actually produced the Liverpool FC beer, and it wasn't just the can was red.
Right. Yeah, unfortunately, no.
Yeah. I think you might need to rethink your intro next time.
All right, get rid of that Wisconsin background.
I do have a beer with a frog on it.
Oh, nice.
What I was trying to do, and I haven't been able to do it, was get a picture of the Minnesota Golden Gophers football team.
God.
American football or soccer?
Yeah, college football.
Okay.
So it's where I went to university.
Speaking of football,
Nice.
It's a
that's
classic
what it's going to
one.
become. Right. So, what are we talking about, and why do I have an image of Speedball 2 behind my head? We are going to talk about series or franchises we want to see make a comeback. So I've obviously declared early. So, Matt, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I got to talk about Colony Wars. It's coming up again. I mention the game all too often, but it needs to happen. Somebody needs to make another Colony Wars game, damn it.
When did the first one come out? That was PS1, right?
Yeah, 97, I believe.
Ooh. I'm going to talk about 2 games that came out in 97 a bit later.
It was a good year for
Right.
games, you know?
What a year, yeah. And 98, arguably one of the best years ever. But
Right.
let's celebrate 1997 today.
Did Liverpool win a Champions League tournament that year? I'm quite unfamiliar with Colony Wars. In fact, that I only know the name and that you love it.
I'm surprised.
That's about as far as I'm.
So, all
my
right,
knowledge as well.
to tie everything together, Colony Wars was made by Psygnosis, which became Studio Liverpool, Sony Studio Liverpool. So
We've come full circle.
we've come full circle. Yeah, full circle on it. Yeah, it was the first. It was the first space sim that came to consoles that actually worked on a controller. It was like you had Wing Commander on the SNES, which did a decent job, but Colony Wars was the first one that was actually made specifically for consoles. It had a console control scheme. Yeah, it's just a great game.
So, sim in what sense?
Like flight sim.
Okay,
Yeah. A lot of space.
that sounds terribly dull.
Like,
I'm
a lot of space shooty going on.
Okay, so yeah, not so dull.
Did it have like a decent like sci-fi
The story was pretty interesting.
like B plot? Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
sci-fi movie. Yeah.
It did. It was about the colonies revolting.
One might
Going
call
to
them
war?
colony wars.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's a solid space shooting game, and
All right, so you're a fan of space shooters.
I am indeed.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do
I'm
you-
surprised.
do you ever think-
Have you got X-Wing on here?
No.
I should have added X-Wing.
Okay.
You could always talk about it if you want. Do you ever think they're going to make a Colony Wars? Like, what percentage chance did you give that?
I don't know who holds the rights. I don't know if Sony owns it or what the deal is. I would love to see Infinity Ward do it because they did such an amazing job with the flight in Infinite Warfare.
That was cool. I did really enjoy those sections. They were a bit on rails at times, but
yeah.
they were a very, very welcome change up to the formula. And I know we talked about this before. The launch sequence is just a straight rip off of Battlestar Galactica, so
Right.
that was quality.
Yeah, I always thought I'd pick that game up on the cheap just to play the campaign, but after playing,
It's worth it.
after playing Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare Remastered's opening level on the ship, I'm not so sure anymore.
That may be more to do with you than the game.
So that's my first pick.
Okay. All right. Are we gonna go one for one, or we're just gonna go person to person?
Yeah, I think we should do one for one.
yeah.
So
Okay.
McWomble did his first one. I did mine. What's your first one, Evan?
Okay. So My first one. This will be the quickest of mine because we all know this franchise. I'd love to see Contra come back. Not a 3D Contra. I'm talking proper 2D Contra. I think the last proper game was probably Contra 4 for the DS or 3DS.
Yeah.
Which is not in that new Contra anthology series that Konami's releasing, or the Contra collection, just because I think it required the dual screens, and it just, I guess they couldn't really put it on the collection, unfortunately. But I think Contra 3 Alien Wars is probably one of my favorite games of all time. And unfortunately, I haven't played Contra 4 because I don't have a DS or 3DS anymore. But I love those games, and with all this awesome, we all kind of get sick of the pixel art, depending on the game, but there's some shining stars that just, all these games are coming out, these indie games, some people might call like shovelware on the eShop or whatnot, but games like Blasphemous, which looks pretty awesome. I'd love to see. Konami's not going to do it. They don't give a shit anymore. But I'd love to see just like a proper 2D Contra game with like really, really awesome, like fluid pixel art.
What about a Contra themed pachinko machine?
That's a hard second.
That's a hard second.
Right underneath, getting a proper Contra game.
Yeah, like if they don't make that game, I'll take the pachinko machine. I've been thinking about it because that Konami collection's coming out, and I just thought, like, man, I'd love to see a new TD Contra game.
They might actually do like a proper, I guess, remaster. They might do like an emulator collection and throw it on PS4, PS5, or whatever the next consoles are.
Right. I just hope it's not. I don't want to see another 3D Contra. I've played a couple of those and they're not very good. Neo Contra was okay.
Was that PS2?
Yeah, that was a PS2 game. It was okay, but I want to see another one.
Some similar thing. I'm hoping that the reimagining / redesign of Streets of Rage goes down well, because I really like Streets of Rage, and I'm quite possibly one of these crazy people that have a greater affinity to the first one than I do some of the others.
Okay.
And it doesn't play as well as the others, but it's just a nostalgia thing. So I'm hoping that the fourth one, if there hadn't have been a new entry coming out, I'd have Streets of Rage on my list.
Okay.
What I really like about what they're doing with 4 is how it's not pixel art, it's hand drawn, but it has the same frames as like the old pixel art games have, which I thought was really cool. It was an interesting way to do it. Interesting way to get that same
pixel art. But I just played Sonic Mania all day today, and I'm just thinking like, oh, if they just did something like this, but with Contra, just highlight all the greatness of Contra 3 Alien Wars, like the helicopter scene with like the cool Predator guy with his jetpack, and as the game goes on, it starts to get very, very like HR. I always mess it up. Geiger, like Alien-esque.
Geiger.
Yeah.
Geiger, thank you. And it gets weirder and weirder. Like I'd love to see them hit all those highlights of that game, but just make a game that would not be able to run properly like on a Super Nintendo, but it still looks like it should be on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. No top-down levels though.
Yeah. Let's cut those. All right. So Keith, what is your second game?
Well, I didn't have a chance to explain why I wanted Speedball on my list, and that's because I miss fun sports games. I used to really like sports franchises, and then they became more and more sim-like, as I may have mentioned on the first ever episode of Podcast Reload that I was on, that Waste of Space podcast, and thank God it's dead. But what I'd really like, because this game I had on the Game Boy, and I played the living hell out of it. Such good fun. And what I'd be really hoping for is if they brought this franchise back, but in the vein of Super Blood Hockey.
I don't even know if I've played that.
So it's the ice hockey action RPG thing that's coming out for Switch soon.
Oh, all right.
So you play the ice hockey matches, but you can get into kind of mass brawls, and there's blood all over the ice, and then you can go away, and you've got your team that you need to have them in the gym and the weight room and whatever else. So it's got the RPG elements and the violence, and I think this. I don't know who made Super Blood Hockey, but when I saw that, the immediate thing that it gave me was some nostalgia for Speedball 2. So that's why that's on my list. And sports games now can just pretty much piss off because they're so I know. Again, it's Konami. Pez, I don't care about football or soccer at all. But basically the only sports franchises you've got are FIFA and Madden, and then some probably terrible tennis game coming out every now and then,
Right.
which you can see a review of on Freeze Frame Rate, because Mitch is from Wisconsin, but he's a nice person. Even when he's calling out my bullshit, which is frequent. So, right, that's enough of Speedball 2. Talking of things that used to be fun that have become less fun, WWF/WWE games. They used to be so much more fun. WWF No Mercy on the N64.
Oh,
THQ games, man. Yeah.
Brilliant fun.
I played the shit out of SmackDown, the first SmackDown for PS1.
I think I played WCW versus NWO Revenge the most.
Oh, that was N64 too, right?
Yeah, and then SmackDown came out after that, and my friends and I made all of our family members in the character creator mode, and they looked great. My dad used to be this like super buff guy, and he was a financial advisor, and so but so like the suits just look big, and when he'd walk around the house, my friends would joke that like dude, look, walking around your house like Vince McMahon or something. So when they made my dad in WCW or SmackDown rather, they gave him the Vince McMahon walk when he entered the ring. It was perfect.
That's awesome.
That's Keith. I think this is a great pick because those games were so much fun, and every time a new wrestling game comes out, it's like, why don't they just? They're not the same.
No.
Yeah. Again, it's because they're trying to make them more and more realistic. When people don't watch wrestling for realism, for God's sake.
Wrestling is absolutely ridiculous.
It's sports entertainment. Make it wacky.
Yeah.
When I played most of it when I was at university, and one thing, each of our the housemates made their own character, and one day I got back and they'd all been playing it, and I went to play as my character, and they changed all of my character's moves whilst I was out for the day. Including that they changed my special move from the Stone Cold Stunner to the Nut Punch.
Okay.
So that meant basically that I could never win a match on the mode that I was playing because you had to do a finisher to knock someone out.
Oh, it just wasn't strong enough.
No. But so yeah, that's the kind of fun that you can have with those games. You can mess with your friends, and you can set up crazy TLC matches, and the animation wasn't great, but it was just some really, really good dumb fun.
Yeah.
when this is over, please go into YouTube and watch the opening for WCW versus NWO Revenge. It is absolutely nuts. Like when I was a kid, it's just like, yeah, this is just an opening to a game. You watch it now and you're like, wow, these guys are on something when they made this. Just starts with like that truck driver driving down the highway, and he stops.
Don't ruin it for me.
All right, fine. Okay, just everyone listening, go on and watch WCW versus NWO Revenge intro. It's great. No, that's a good pick. I like your angle that these sports games, and I guess you can include wrestling, and they're getting way too simmy and less fun.
Yeah.
And by the way, Super Blood Hockey is a great name for a video game. Definitely better than Hockey Fall.
Icefall.
Icefall.
Matterfall. That was the other one.
Snowfall. Wait, no,
Greedfall.
That's like an actual
the most recent one.
All right, Matt. What do you got?
My second pick is Eye of the Beholder. I want to see this series come back in a really bad way.
All right, you have to explain to me, like, are they going to keep it as is? Like, or how are they gonna? What are they gonna change? Or do you want to explain like what kind of game it is?
Okay, so it's a dungeon crawler, much in the same way as Wizardry. It was.
Kids could say wizardry.
Huh?
I thought I'd do in French. So you're probably going to ream off a load of games, and Evan and I are just going to go.
Okay. So I did tell Matt this. The only reason I know this game is when I was a kid, my older brother was way into anything high fantasy. That was like his life. I think he thought he was a wizard or something. I'm not quite sure. But he played the shit out of this game. And I remember getting mad because he ended up getting to the end and he beat it, but I was playing with a friend, or I wasn't home from school yet or something, and I never got to see the end of the game. Because I used to like back in the day, like I was like really shit at games, and I just watched my older brother play, and I used to
based on your video on Twitter of you playing Modern Warfare.
You know what? When I restarted that level, my character was facing the wrong direction. They should have. The door was to my right, so I just went down the wrong corridor. It's like, this game sucks.
Oh my god!
I'm not gonna. 2 chances. But anyways, so
I missed that video, but no, yeah, it's a standard dungeon crawler. There's nothing really too different about it, but it's the Forgotten Realms. It's Dungeons and Dragons. It's the quintessential fantasy setting. And so, like, it would just be nice to have another D&D style dungeon crawler. I think I would change some of the mechanics. It was
quality of life improvements, maybe.
Yeah, just basic stuff to just make it more palatable for modern tastes.
All right, I have one question for you.
Because I had a bit of slowdown on the stream when you asked Matt that question. He was just stuck like this. And I just thought Matt had just stopped, and so when you asked the question, it's like, "How dare you?"
God, having difficulty with the sun, so.
Has there been any recent games that have strictly done the old school dungeon crawler?
Oh yeah, Etrian Odyssey is one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They are releasing another Wizardry, Labyrinth of Souls, I think.
Okay, so it's alive and
yeah. There's another game on Steam they've done a couple called Grimrock 1 and 2. It's still a genre that's around. It's just sort of niche, I guess, or niche.
Yes, because there's no T in it.
Actually, both pronunciations are acceptable.
No.
Let's not get into this now. Okay, so
that from an English teacher I find abhorrent.
Both are acceptable. It's true. All right, Eye of the Beholder.
You always have the interesting background noises.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's fucking genskis. By the way, the little motorbikes in Japanese they call them genskis. It just sounds like I'm Polish. That just sounds like my nephew or something. Like I don't know, riding around in their genskis outside. I live on a busy road. When I moved, I live on a really busy road. If the windows are closed too, it'd be worse. But anyways,
Right.
all right.
Evan.
Yeah, Evan, your next game.
All right, there's too many games on this list, so I'm gonna go to the main event. I want to see a little Game Boy game, produced by Shigeru Miyamoto, back in 1997, called Mole Mania. Now, why does nobody know this game? Well, 4 months before this game came out, a game called Pokemon came out. And
That makes
no
sense
kid
now.
was going to drop Pokemon to play a game called Mole Mania. And it got buried. And it was towards the end of the Game Boy's life. Everyone's playing Pokemon. No one really heard about it. I don't even really remember why I bought the damn game. It must have been the old school, like, looked at the back of the box, or it was on sale and I bought it. But then again, I'm like thinking, if I went to Toys R Us at 11 years old, why the hell, even if I looked at the back of the box, would I buy this fucking game? But
I know why you bought it.
Why?
Because on the cover it said, "You'll dig Mole Mania."
Yes. Shit. I think I was drinking a Mountain Dew when I read that too. Fucking radical. So
Radical.
Mole Mania is it's a great game. It's got an awesome opening. Starts out with a mom mole, and a gardener comes off from the side of the screen, hits her in the head with a hammer, then digs in the hole, steals 7 of her babies, and then throws her on top of the sack and runs away. And then your character comes in, and he left a note. He's like, "Hey, I've kidnapped your kids and your wife, and come get me." So the main things in the game, it's basically like each screen is a puzzle, and almost like a old school Zelda dungeon. Like you can usually there's a exit to the top part down, left or right. And once you go, the screen will shift over into a new puzzle. And the main mechanics are you burrow, and then you can drag or throw a bomb. Now the cool thing about the burrowing is each screen has 2 levels. When you burrow, you'll be under the ground, and you can dig through the dirt and then pop up pretty much anywhere. Obviously, if there's something blocking you that's on the above ground, like a rock or something, you won't be able to dig up.
Right.
But
or tree stumps, by the looks of. I'm looking at some of the images.
Right. So basically, the main thing that you do in every single screen is there's a bomb, and you have to drag or throw the bomb to break a stone wall that is blocking you from progressing to the next screen. Now, the bomb will always respawn in the same place. What happens is you can either throw the bomb forward or behind you, and you can use it to take out enemies. But when you throw it, it'll go as far as it can until it's stopped by something. But if you throw the bomb and it goes over a hole, it'll fall in the hole and respawn from its location. So basically, the whole thing is, how do I get this bomb to break the wall? What will happen in the game is, like, if there's enemies and you'll get a bit flustered and you dig underground to hide from them, if you end up digging too many holes on each of the screens, the puzzle becomes unsolvable, because if there's too many holes, the bomb will end up, there's no way for you to push the bomb to the stone wall. So basically the entire thing is like burrowing a minimal amount of times in order to solve these puzzles to get this bomb to break the wall. So it's essentially a puzzle game, but that game gets so hard. I can't believe I beat that game when I was 11 years old. It gets
I found the box art for the back of the box, and there's a boxing kangaroo in the game as well.
I believe that's the first boss. Yeah. Oh, and there you go. There's boss battles. So it uses the 2 tiers of each level where you have to burrow down and, find a way to use your burrowing to beat the boss, which is really, really cool. So it's just a really, really cool puzzle games. You're up above ground and there's a wall blocking you. If you burrow under it, then you can pop up on the other side of the wall, and it just kept upping the difficulty in every stage, and it just got essentially what you did was exactly the same, but just the puzzles were really, really, really clever, and I just thought I've never really seen a game quite like it since. And
Yeah, I've never heard of it, and I like puzzle games.
I think I just chanced by it when I was a kid. So, but yeah, the whole burrowing mechanic in each screen being this this intricate puzzle about how to push a specific block essentially to one side of the screen in order to progress was like super, super awesome, and I wish they'd bring it back. That's my deep cut for this week. But yeah, Mole Mania. I think I played it on the Super Game Boy, and it actually had a special. You know how some Game Boy games were actually colored properly?
Yeah.
Mole Mania was one of those games that was colored properly, and the background was like a special Mole Mania background. It had the little mole hands on the bottom that looked like you were looking in a hole. It's pretty good stuff for an 11-year-old. But yeah,
I can just imagine an 11-year-old Evan wandering around thinking, "You know what I could dig?
Some moles."
Moles."
I think that's exactly what I said. Exactly what I said 22 years ago.
Oh man.
But yeah, Mole Mania. It's an awesome game. I wish it would come back. All right, who is next?
Keith, right?
It's back to me. Right,
Yeah.
Here we go. Hold on to your butt cheeks.
Star Wars Dark Forces.
Now that Disney have realized that they can make significant amounts of money from said franchise, and the EA have taken their head firmly out of their arse.
You said we have to hold on to our butt cheeks.
Yeah, you guys do.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Executives at EA need to release. They need to release the Star Wars.
I think they've already done that on the franchise, but
yeah. So
that was like the in-office email. It just said release Star Wars. Like, oh, why didn't we think of this earlier?
No, it was prepare for EvanFall. So I can't understand. So this kind of led from the other conversation that we probably haven't got time to have around spin-off games. So the other 2 games that I had in my spin-off section was Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy, which were spin-offs from the Dark Forces games.
right.
And I think, okay, now Disney have totally shit-canned all of the canon before the latest round of film releases. There's nothing to say that they can't go back and revisit some of the elements of the galactic war that was Star Wars, but in a slightly different way, and a slightly better way than that piece of crap that I was playing, Battlefront 2. The story mode in that is just garbage. The way it so abruptly changes from being I'm the bad guy, I'm here to destroy the rebels, to I'm on the wrong side. Okay. Right, better fight the Empire now. Even though my dad, even the first one, which was quite basic, which is just there's a new type of super trooper.
Right.
Lights are going to find me. Neither of you are ABBA fans, but obviously.
I wasn't a huge fan. I just should have the license for this.
Right.
Yes, and
Yeah. if
they
anyone
could
can
do such a good turn, coming up with a slightly edgier story
Right.
than you'd expect from the Star Wars games that we're getting. Although Fallen Order seems a bit darker, and I don't know. I'm going to wait for an hour and 10 minutes to find out more about it.
Yeah.
But is there anything going on this weekend and for the next few days? I don't know.
It starts with 3 E's.
Evan, are you feeling okay? Actually, it's normally around this time of the year that you kind of come over feeling a bit.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
fortunately, this year my immune system is strong this year.
Yeah, the immune system is strong with this one.
Boo! All right, it's midnight. I should probably keep it down.
Well, yeah, you had the police coming round at 4 a.m. when you were watching the Liverpool match around your mate's house.
I was legitimately worried earlier today because I was swearing at my screen while playing Sonic Mania, but no one called the cops, so I think I'm okay.
Yeah, well, if they come around and say, "What were you doing?" Well, I was playing Sonic Mania and I was getting really fucked off with it. I said, "Okay, just keep it down."
Anyway, okay. Did you play Doom 2016?
Yes, loved it.
So obviously you're not going to have like a giant arena-based shooter with like stormtroopers like popping out of hellholes and stuff, but the corridor sections of that 2016, I can totally see just make this like a Imperial Star Destroyer or whatever, and instead of demons, there's stormtroopers here. Like
Yeah,
I can picture it in my head.
They did have some more open sections, and they had some tricky. Because it was more mechanically tricky than actually challenging in terms of some of the platforming stuff that you had to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the story, the way they incorporated the level design. So, and this is the thing that pisses me off about the more recent entries of the Halo franchise. It's go and kill everything, push button. This you even back then, you had to actually figure out where you were on said spaceship, space station, planet, you moved around.
I do remember that.
And the variety of weapons, enemies, and the way they linked the characters in from the universe is just really good. And I'm thinking, right, okay, Fallen Order's coming out. Let's do something different. They don't even have to use the same premise. If they've retconned all of the characters, let's just use the name.
Right.
Yeah.
And at least it might go some way to kind of appeasing some of the animosity from some fans called me. Right, I'll leave it there, and we'll move on to Matt.
All right, my last one. I actually had a couple more picks, but this will be my last one since we seem to be wrapping it up. Kingdoms of Amalur. My wife was very adamant that I mention this game because she spent hundreds and hundreds of hours in the Kingdoms of Amalur universe.
Wait, this is that crazy story about the baseball player that started that studio, spent all that money.
Yeah.
Right. And then the state, which state was it who gave him the loan that he got sued and said he couldn't pay back because he declared bankruptcy?
38 Studios.
Was it New Hampshire?
I don't think it was New Hampshire.
It's not a state.
It was East Coast, right?
Yeah, it was somewhere on the East Coast. But I mean, I don't know. The city that the studio was based in did it to themselves because they sort of offered this money. It was like, oh, we need game developers. Here's a shit ton of money to make a video game.
Okay, so Matt, there's talking about a high fantasy game, right? There's a couple of those.
Yeah.
Have been in the past. couple coming out. Why do you want to see this game in particular come back?
Well, it's the perfect storm. So it's Todd McFarlane doing character design. It's R.A. Salvatore doing the history and writing all the lore and writing the story for the game. And it's Ken Ralston, who was the guy that was the lead mechanics designer for Morrowind, doing the game design. So just get those three guys back together. I don't care what the hell you call the game. Get those three guys back together to make another video game.
I watched a lot of kind of mutual acquaintance / friend Brian Bentley play a lot of that game on his Twitch channel, and it looked really good fun.
It is. It's sort of like it's if like an Elder Scrolls game had Devil May Cry or God of War combat.
Interesting.
That would be that game.
It's not a bad combination.
No, you have different combos and there's different classes and things that you can do, and
yeah, and don't your combos change based on your weapons and
yes,
yeah. So it is really deep in terms of its RPG-ness.
Yeah, it's extremely deep. I think the reason that I picked it up originally, though, was just because there was like a special armor set that you could get. And so I think that was the reason that I picked it up. And then I learned all the stuff about the game after the fact.
Oh, okay. Interesting. It's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but with Mass Effect.
Right. I think so.
All right. So speaking of prolific writers, I've set up a dartboard, this type of thing. All right, let me try this out. Here we go. George R.R. Martin. Holy shit. You gotta be fucking kidding me. All right, hold on. Got another one. From Software. George R.R. Martin consulting on a front. That'll never fucking happen, but we can all dream, right? All right. My shitty bit is over.
I thought you were serious for a minute. I heard the dart like hit the board. I was like, oh my God, he really does have a dartboard there. What's going to happen?
Yeah, no, I was legitimately going to say something. You've mentioned this game a couple times and I've always forgotten to go on YouTube. I know the box art, but I've never seen the game being played, and I always forget to go on YouTube. Don't
go on YouTube and do it. Honestly, go to Twitch and
Bentley. Yeah.
Give Bentley who you can follow on Twitter as Quiglin, Quiglin, who I've been trying to get on here as well, so he can do his gratuitous plugs for the stuff that he does. But lovely. Yeah, the times have never really worked out. But honestly, I think he's got 3 chunks of gameplay for at least 2 hours each, which doesn't even touch the sides in terms of the size of that game, because it is. Yeah,
that's not even the first section. Like,
yeah, it was supposed to be this crazy series that was going to go on for.
Well, yeah,
the world building was so.
Okay, so R.A. Salvatore wrote like 1,000 years of history.
That's right. I remember you telling me this.
Yeah, for this
1,000 years of history.
Dude, well, it's crazy. I mean, the guy's like, he's insanely prolific as a writer as it is.
Well, we can only dream. All right.
I just thought as well is that because we're getting more famous, maybe I'll have to stop doing stuff like this because we'll get copyright strikes.
We're not playing any music though, so I think we're good.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. Okay, I'm just gonna briefly name the 4 other things, but not really go into them, just so we can get them out of here, because I think we're probably coming up on time.
Yeah, I mean, we can let this go a little bit longer. I do want to get some of these spin-offs in.
Oh, are we switching to the next topic?
Should we move then?
Yeah, we should switch to the next. Yeah, let's go into our favorite spin-offs.
Okay, so item number 2, favorite spin-offs. Who's going first?
Well, Evan, you were already talking, so you should go ahead and handle it.
Oh shit. Okay.
All right. Let's not give him credence.
I love I love Mario. The only way to live is 999 power moons, as we know.
I thought that was going to start off. That starts off like a confession.
It's absolutely
So,
ridiculous, by the way.
Have you guys?
I love Mario. I,
I have a Mario pillow.
are those the meetings you go to as opposed to going to your AA meeting?
Yeah. What would you call it?
MLA, Mario Lovers Anonymous.
Well, I was
That's
thinking,
exactly what it's called. How did you know that? You must have gone to the meeting. Don't project onto me. So have either of you guys played Super Mario 3D World for the Wii U?
No.
no, I haven't. I want to.
So it's one of the best 3D Mario games ever made. I think it's better than Galaxy N64. As a small mini game in that game, there was these off levels featuring Captain Toad, where you'd be Captain Toad in this very small level where it would spin around and Toad couldn't jump, so you kind of had to. It was like small puzzles. You had to work your way to the top and get the star, and those were so popular that they turned it into its actual spin-off, as we all know, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which is a great game. I think it's a great game, like not even a good game. I think it's great because I think the idea of those puzzles were so popular that I'm guessing the devs or the people that made those in 3D World thought like, oh, there's totally room for more of this, and let's just make this a game. So someone gave it the okay, and I just think it's.
Hang on, I need to figure out which way to move.
I can't. There's no room in this world. There you go.
Oh my god.
Yeah, just me and T-Rack. We're just hanging out.
Best friends.
Bezies.
I think the worst thing that you guys ever brought to the table is calling Resident Evil series Resi. I'll never accept that. I'll negotiate on plenty of things, but I draw the line at Resi. Anyways, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Have you guys played this?
I have not. Is it actually worth? It's 60.
Money?
It's
No, probably not.
It's $60 on the Switch, right?
Oh, it's got to be 40.
I don't think it is. It's the Nintendo tax. Anything that they re-release is going to be full
Pretty
price.
sure this one is specifically cheaper.
Maybe.
I usually rail against the Nintendo tax, like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
I mean, I love puzzle games, so this one's on my list to play eventually.
The concept is, and I'm going to get this slightly wrong. The concept is like you have these mini gardens, very popular in Japan, where it's a very small area, but it's all dense with things to look at. So the idea is like take these small levels and just like layer it and make it really, really dense, and you can only get the bigger picture when you look at the level from all sides.
Right, you have to keep like switching the camera. Yeah.
Yep, yeah, and the great thing is like there's no achievements or trophy system on the Switch, but there's one specific thing you have to do in each level, and then there's 3 diamonds you have to find. And obviously the diamonds are really hard to find. Some of them are so. I mean, there's one level where I was spinning that fucking level around for like 25 minutes, and it was like once I turned one thing and moved Toad here and tapped one thing, all of a sudden, like from a certain angle, I could see the diamond and I got it. But you wouldn't think the levels look like everything's there for you. It's like, okay, I see the entire level, but they're so clever with how they hide things and how like cranks, and there's a bit of like touchscreen stuff going on where like raising ladders and lowering stuff that it's almost like a giant puzzle box, really.
Right.
When you see once you turn it plus move Toad or turn a lever, it makes the level look different, and it's a great game. I absolutely love it. So that is probably one of my favorite spin-offs.
Nice.
You guys should play it. You both have Switches. Shame on you.
Yeah, I'll pick it up eventually. Keith, you want to get
Right.
into
So,
your?
one of my favorite spin-offs is actually, literally involves spinning.
Okay.
Sonic
See where you're going
Spinball.
with this.
Yeah,
That technically is a spin-off, isn't it?
it is. Yeah, it is.
And it's challenging. It's good fun, and it's really good to play if you stream it whilst you're drunk. Apparently,
Yes.
I can't think that
won't get very
why
far.
anyone would want to do that. But it would probably be an interesting thing to try.
And an interesting thing to watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
Watch someone do that.
Yeah. Well, all we need now is someone brave enough, manly enough, and bearded enough
To have done that like 3 years ago.
Oh, you don't say. Well, video's already out there then.
Yeah.
It is good fun. It's really hard, and the reason that it made me think of it is I bought the Sega Mega Drive collection for Switch recently.
Yeah.
So I've been playing some of that again.
How many games are on that?
Like 100.
Too many.
Yeah, there's so
Yeah.
many games.
Yeah, so I was playing some of that, some Streets of Rage, some Comic Zone, but nothing in terms of spin-offs other than the literal spin-off of Sonic Spinball.
Right.
Matt, go for it.
My first one's gonna be, well, I don't know how many we're gonna do, but the penultimate spin-off that I have is Might and Magic Clash of Heroes. So this is obviously a spin-off of the Might and Magic series,
Like Heroes of Might and Magic?
which in and of itself I think is a spin-off of the Might and Magic series.
Sorry, someone's just from where I'm sitting. I've got the road outside, and there's a crossing, and someone's just crossed the road, and they have a navy blue kind of sports coat on with bright blue elbow patches.
Are they a professor?
I think the accurate term is probably arsehole.
I once sat outside a Walgreens pharmacy, or a chemist, as you would call them in where you.
No, we have pharmacies here as well.
Oh, you do? Okay. And I was sitting there, and from afar, I saw a guy in full fucking Heath Ledger Joker outfit, complete with the paint and the oily green hair. And he was just walking across a parking lot, and it was like the middle of July. All right. Anyways, Might and Magic Clash of Heroes.
It's, I mean, I don't know, how do I follow, Heath Ledger, Joker, and guy with bright blue patches on his elbows.
All right, let's skip it then. Who's next?
Probably with a spell, maybe something fiery.
Yeah, it's a puzzle game. It's hard to describe. So you have like different units depending on which faction you choose, and there's different levels that you go through. It's kind of an RPG. It's kind of a strategy game. It's kind of a puzzle game. It's really unique. I've bought it at least 3 times. I think I bought it on the Xbox 360. I bought it on my PS3. I don't know if I have it on my.
Have you bought it as many times as Final Fantasy VII?
Not quite as many times as Final Fantasy VII, but it's getting there. If they ever re-release this game, I will buy it again for sure.
Nice.
It's hard to describe. Basically, you rearrange your units to create attacks. So you have to have like 3 or 4 units in a row, and you can only move 1 unit at a time. And you have like a block of units. So
Like Fire Emblem?
No, it's not like Fire Emblem. So it's you against an enemy. So you're on the bottom of the screen, the enemy's on the top of the screen. You move your enemies or you move your units to create chains of units that are all the same type that then create an attack, and then like rows of your units build up at the bottom.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah. It's incredibly.
You're not selling it to me.
It's incredibly addictive once you actually get into it.
Well, how old is it?
Xbox Live Arcade, so 2013 maybe, 2014.
Okay. I've heard the name, but I haven't ever seen a screenshot or gameplay. All right, quick one from me. Super Luigi U is probably one of the best.
Do you have anything that's not Mario related?
You know that he just got back from Nintendo camp. Come on.
Yeah, come on now. You know this better than anyone.
Evan's not allowed at Nintendo camp because of the restraining order.
Well, now, yeah, but I was still there. Super Luigi U is the Super Meat Boy of the Mario series. It gives you 100 seconds for each level. So at the start of the level, it does the classic and the whole crux of the game is go fast, finish the level before the time is up, and it completely changes the way you play a 2D Mario game because you are hurrying to the end. There's no secrets to find. There's no P-wing that will take you, a secret block that'll take you up a plant to go up to the clouds and get coins. Like your goal is to get through the level as quickly as possible, and it's so much fucking fun. And I just wish, like, it made me see the 2D Mario games in a different light. It's like, wow, you can do more with this series than just make another 2D Mario game, and not have it be, well, it is really about level design as well, but not your classic 2D Mario game. Just switch the template up a little bit, and you can just look at the game in a whole new light. When you first start the game, Luigi's floaty jump seems like a huge annoyance, but the more you play the game, the more you get used to it, and you rely on it to, like, once you keep going and you pick up momentum, you're able to float over vast sections of the levels, which is very useful because there's lots of lava, there's lots of like death traps and stuff like that. And I actually played that game and went back and played New Super Mario Brothers U, or whatever the hell it's called, the one that came out in December 2012 along with the Wii U launch. It's the same overworld. Basically, Super Luigi U it's just remixed levels designed for the specific, like, go, you have 100 seconds to get through the level. Also, you have Luigi's floaty jump. The initial game, trying to play that after playing Super Luigi U, I was like, this game is slow and it's boring. So I would just love to see them, like, make another 2D platforming Mario game, but do the same thing, where, like, make it challenging, make it hard, make it fast. And so I love that game. Blew me away. I was not expecting anything from that game. I bought it on the cheap and I fucking loved it.
So, New Super Mario Brothers U is the last game that I bought for my Switch. And
the deluxe?
Yeah, the deluxe edition or whatever that's got everything in it.
Have you played? You've played Luigi U?
I haven't. No, I played the first, like, the original game, right? And I was trying to get through that, and I was a little disappointed with it. But I haven't gone back much to play it. But you talking about Luigi U, I might just jump into that game instead.
If you jump into Super Luigi U, you will not go back and finish the other game, because compared to Luigi U, sorry, it's fucking boring. But yeah, if you think I'm not going to beat that game, just go to Super Luigi U. It's so much better.
Okay.
It doesn't play like a regular Mario game, and that's for the better because it just feels fresh. But yeah.
Oh, it doesn't fit.
Not quite. I do like that though.
Oh yeah, that's nice. I was like, what
yellow.
the hell is that? I'm like, oh, okay.
That is Cousin Cam gone McWomble the Terrible. Sorry, I was just getting a bit bored. You guys talking about
Nintendo.
Luigi and
Well, why do you want to
Nintendo.
Switch? What do you want to Switch for? It's for first-party games.
no, yeah, but that's fine. But you guys talking about it was boring me.
So let's talk about another spin-off,
Yes, let's.
Mr. McWomble.
Let's talk about Star Wars again.
Oh my God!
Are you
You know
gonna?
what? You guys bother me because you play more Star Wars games than you watch. I don't understand. I don't. Not literally. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand that.
I
Well-
figuratively don't understand.
No, you know what I mean. I shouldn't have used literally. I wasn't going to switch to.
Well,
Figure-
you can literally not understand something because it is you not comprehending. You can't figuratively not understand something because that's you choosing not to understand it based on your own bias. Or
Right, but I think literally is often used to.
if you don't understand something, you obviously literally don't understand it.
But I do understand it, so I backpedaled.
Okay. So
I
you
don't.
were
Ag-
just
I
being-
don't. I don't agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Now,
you understand the fact that there are hardly any really good Star Trek games. So we have to play Star Wars games because
Oh, is that why?
nobody,
Is this why?
yeah, because nobody can do the franchise justice. Like Star Trek Online is decent.
Mm.
The ship combat's amazing. The
oh god, the
away
the
mission?
third person stuff is
Oh,
just
it's
god awful.
fucking horrible.
It's terrible.
All right, my cursor is right in your nose, McWomble. So I'm just gonna move that to the right. Okay, actually, you know what?
Wait, not just drive it up through my nose into my skull.
Actually, I never thought of that's the reason why. And you know, what, I'll take that. I'm not disappointed in you guys anymore. That's
No,
it.
I'm just a
That's-
really
that
big
is
Star Wars fan as well.
Oh, okay. Well, don't
so-
say that. Now I am disappointed all over again. All right, please. Star
There-
Wars.
there- as disappointed in me goes, I'll take that reason as opposed to others.
Fair enough. Shake on that.
I mean, yeah, maybe not me speaking for Keith so much as myself just speaking on.
But I do
myself.
get that. Like that sounds like I get the reasoning behind that. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, people have struggled to transfer Star Trek into the games medium.
Yeah, they have, haven't they?
I mean, honestly, I haven't played Bridge Commander or whatever the Ubisoft one is yet.
But the VR one.
Well, the old one was good.
No, so Bridge Crew. The VR.
Right. Yeah, so I haven't played the Ubisoft one, the new one, Bridge Crew. And part of the reason was because it was like straight to VR. I guess they've released a non-VR version that you can play, but
Okay, that's better.
I'm waiting for the wireless PSVR 2.0 to come out for the PlayStation 5, and then I'll probably get one and maybe try that out.
yeah.
Yeah, well, only if it comes with the Yakuza bundle.
That's
Oh,
like
man.
2 weeks from now. We're going to talk about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So, what spin-offs? What Star Wars spin-offs are you talking about?
I mentioned them earlier. Were you not listening, Evan? Judas
No,
Pietrowski.
I'm looking at the document. I'm well aware.
That's why I was trying to get to another high fantasy franchise spinoff.
Yeah, Evan Judas Pietrowski. As soon as a better offer comes along, he's off like a ferret down a drain pipe.
Is it a greased up ferret?
Yeah, I like how you fucking digging on me for mentioning two Nintendo products, and then you go on about Star Wars and then talking about high fantasy and the pot calling the kettle.
Keith, do you want to talk about Thronebreaker or no?
Yeah, So I finished Thronebreaker literally just before we moved. So what, 2 weeks
Literally
ago?
or figuratively?
No,
Figuratively before they moved. Yeah.
yeah. We thought about moving and then just it happened.
So you finished it.
Yeah, and it's the kind of game I really enjoyed playing once, and there is some replayability in there, but I'm not. Okay, it's already deleted off my PS4, so I'm never going to play it again.
So it's a great spin-off. It's
That's
top of the
that's not a
list.
bad thing though. I do that all the time. Like when I finish a game, that's it. I'm not going to go back and play it. That doesn't mean that it's bad.
Right.
But compared to the experience that I had actually playing Gwent, it's so much more enjoyable. Some of the puzzles are bastard hard.
Okay.
But
okay.
That's an official term as well.
That was actually on the box for Mole Mania under Can You Dig It?
Some of these levels are bastard hard.
That's why I bought it, now that I remember. Okay. Anyway.
But the fact that it doesn't force you to play them, because some of them you get a set custom deck of cards. You pick the wrong one on the first move, you're done. And literally trying to do the same puzzle, because I wanted to try to fix all of them, but some of them are just like, what the hell am I meant to do here? So unless you actually understand the background and all of the points, and if this thing moves, then this thing can do this thing, and this thing can do this thing. If you play this thing, I don't care. I just want to get on with the story.
Right.
So if you're more puzzle orientated, they've got their elements. But if you're more story orientated, they haven't handicapped you in that way.
Okay.
And the fact that it isn't pay to win bullshit. So if you play Gwent online, and someone's been buying all of the expansions, you can actually still enjoy the game. And they've actually gone away and put a really decent effort into developing what was purely a online version of the Gwent card game into
a single player experience,
something that's a separate standalone narrative in terms of a prequel to the Witcher franchise.
Right.
So other than them being complete and total bastards when it comes to crunch and workforce management and human resources, they can get people to write and make good games.
I'm curious if Cyberpunk is going to have anything similar to Gwent, just because like when Witcher 3 first came out, that was like the main thing that everybody talked about. They're like, well, have you played Gwent? You know?
I was like, fuck no. But actually,
it's a bit of a damnation on the actual game, isn't it? You've got this massive open world, huge branching story, really in-depth characters. And have you played Gwent?
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, like when the game first came out, that was all I heard.
That's interesting.
That was the one thing that like everybody was like, oh, you gotta play Witcher 3 and play Gwent, you know.
That's actually a good question, Matt, and I don't think I've ever heard anyone bring that up, to where is there going to be some futuristic, like, because it's like a lot of cyberpunk. It's cyberpunk. It's going to be there's going to be some seedy shit going on in that game. So is there going to be like
a gambling
future
hall,
version of
a futuristic, like like a city that's like, you know, like future Las Vegas, or like some seedy area of the city where you can play some like super futuristic or gambling or card games or something like that.
Right.
Because they included Gwent, and they got they did a great job with making a brand new card game. You would think that they would do that in their new game. So yeah, that's actually.
Do you know what would be really cool? Is if you could gamble your mods.
Gamble your mod. Okay.
Like there's a side quest where you have to like beat some guy at some game to get like an awesome mod or something like that.
Yeah. So if you've got a specific, or you've got a high level mod, but no cash, people will take your mod as collateral.
I'm really looking forward to that game, by the way. But
yeah, it's just a shame that we've got to put up with the culture of beasting game designers and coders and whoever else to actually get it out.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Right. Matt, do we care any more about whatever Evan's got to say?
Like just in general?
I looked over at the Google Doc and I'm like, well...
Matt, would you like to mention one more high fantasy game?
Yes, yeah, I do. I have another.
I'm done. So Matt, you can finish off.
So my last.
You can finish both of us off.
My last high fantasy game is Pokemon Let's Go. It's super high fantasy. George R. Martin wishes he wrote it. No, I'm kidding. Really good spinoff though. I don't know. I do really like spin-offception because the Mega Man series had two, well, I guess like three spin-offs, right? The Battle Network, Legends, and then Legends had a spin-off which was The Misadventures of Tron,
which is a really, really good game. And the only reason I played that game was I had a PlayStation 3 in 2016, and I was running out of games to play.
You bought it on PSN?
Yeah, I bought it on PSN. I didn't play it back in the day. I played it in 2016. This is like the running joke on Podcast Reload. That
a podcast that no longer exists.
Vin was playing games like Uncharted 4, and I was playing like the Prince of Persia whatever game and Misadventures of Tron, but PS1 classics that I downloaded. But that game's awesome. I really, really like that game, and I am convinced that the idea for minions, they totally fucking ripped off the serve bots.
Oh, totally.
From Legends. They totally did. There's no doubt in my mind that that's where they took the idea from.
Yeah, because the game was, I think Legends was 96, maybe?
It's a long, long time ago. Yeah, these kind of like these little...
maybe it was later. Maybe it was like 97 or 98. But, yeah, it was still...
You played as the bad guy from the Mega Man Legends series, kind of like the anti-hero almost, and you had your little serve bots, your little underlings, these little goofy like engineers that kind of walked around with their little their tools and screwdrivers and stuff. And
I'm looking at the box art now.
Yeah, it's super fun. It's really, really, it's old school. You control it's like tank controls. You swerve.
Oh yeah,
in place with L1 and R1 to turn like number 32 or number 5, and Tron will just kind of like slap them around, and their main goal is to serve her. And when you go back to your base, you can go to like different sections of your base and talk with the serve bots there. And then go out on missions where you're in your like giant power suit where you're controlling it with these like classic like 2 levers, and you're just doing this control it type of thing. And I was just like, I didn't expect much from it, and I had a great time playing it. It was fun. And I never played Mega Man Legends, but after playing The Misadventures of Tron, I'm like, is that why Mega Man Legends fans are so loud about wanting another game?
Totally.
I totally didn't understand until I played this game, and now I kind of do, because I would like to see a new Tron game, or I guess a Mega Man Legends.
Yeah,
I haven't played those games, so I kind of want to see a Tron game. But now I get it. Now I get why there's this weird like fan from this like niche spin-off would be so like loud about wanting another game.
So sorry, Evan, were you saying something?
I was saying a lot of things. Tons.
I loved
all the things.
I loved Legends personally.
So you played it back in the day.
Oh yeah, and I remember getting it because I was like, oh, it's a Mega Man RPG, right?
Sounds good to me, right?
Yeah, but it's actually pretty heavily action oriented. I was surprised at how much uh, coordination you actually have to have for that game. And I remember having my friend come over and like he was a lot better at um, that style of gameplay than I was, and having him like go through some of the levels, and he had never seen the game before, and he was like, oh yeah, I'll try it or whatever, and like beat a level. And then we spent an entire weekend just going through all of the different dungeons and things, because you do have you haven't played Legends, right? So you don't know.
I have not.
Okay.
There's similar stuff in Tronbon where you are going through these dungeons where like the draw distance is shit.
Yeah.
Right, but like it's good. Do you solely play as Mega Man in those games?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the many Mega Men
All right.
from that universe. I learned on Death Battle. There's loads of them. They were fought to the death, and one of them won. Who cares?
They just build a new one.
I don't know if I agree with this.
What, water?
Yeah.
I don't agree with drinking water. I'm going to do it anyway.
Hydrating is good. You should stay hydrated.
Hey, for whatever times, drink Suntory.
Oh my god,
water?
they have water too.
Oh, dude, they make it. They make everything. They're not just a whiskey company.
Well, I know they did beer. Yeah.
Yep. Suntory water.
Right. In my role of trying to keep us on track and not rambling, I've done a particularly terrible job today.
It's okay. We forgive you.
Seems to happen when I'm on. I think it's my fault.
Yeah, let's blame Evan.
I don't need you guys anymore. I have a new podcast called the Coffee and Beer Podcast, which will be first episode will be out after E3, where Vin Hill and Evan Piotrowski have their thoughts on E3 2019.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Hashtag blame Evan.
Hey, you need a martyr? I'm here. I'll take all of your sin. Put it onto me. Actually, I shouldn't fuck around with that. I even raised my hands. So all right. That didn't happen.
All right.
See, now those things definitely don't happen when you're using Zencaster.
No, they don't. And on that note, gentlemen, I believe the Beerumverate is done.